everything. I enjoy them tremendously.
Well, I'm friends with Michelle, and I'm friends with Dustin, so I'm already halfway there. So that'll be interesting. What night are they going to be on?
I'm thinking Thursday.
All right.
And it's not going to be live, but I'm expecting them to be in chat. They are going to be recording and sending it in. I'm thinking they may go ahead and be... I'm not sure. I'm not going to commit them to that. At this point, it is going to be a rebroadcast of their private show. But you never know what's going to happen.
No, you don't. So, guys, that's one more night of broadcasting for everybody to listen in and
they
help
have
build
interesting. And they have interesting guests. I mean, off the wall guests. They're very good friends with the men from Mountain Monsters, so they do a little cryptid stuff. And I'm going to tell you that I did not know much about that show until I met the guys and interviewed them at Scarefest last year.
Yeah.
They're so nice. I don't know what I was expecting from people that go chasing into the woods after things that can eat you, but they were very nice people. And
I don't think that they believe it can eat them.
They can. They're not Vegisauruses. They're meat eaters.
I know.
They're foragers. So
I look at those guys and, I'll tell you, I watch Mountain Monsters for comic relief.
Right?
I like the show. I'm not saying I don't like it.
I didn't know it was that kind of show. I watched it, and I was like, get out of town.
Oh, yeah. It was very dramatic.
It is very dramatic. But, man, they have a ton of followers.
Yeah, I couldn't believe, the soap opera. I mean, it was more soap opera-y than Days of Our Lives.
Probably close.
But,
if they had started when they were 15 and 16 years old and aged progressively like the Days of Our Lives cast has, then I've got to find the moisturizers and facial products those women on those shows use because they don't age in 40 years.
Oh, I know. Because Days of Our Lives has been on this month, 53 years.
Really?
Yes. It's been watching it my whole life.
That was my grandma's favorite soap opera.
I still watch it. I tape it every day, and I still watch it. Not every day, but I tape it and I watch it. So I know it's bad, but I don't know if I really.
Not if it entertains you.
I mean, I listen. Well, I'm working every day, so that's the best part about working from home. I have to have something to keep me busy. So, but again, back to Mountain Monsters, they turned. I mean, we looked forward to watching them, regardless of what we thought. We still had to DVR it, and we still had to watch it, even though we go, "Oh, what are they going to do now? What stupid thing are they going
to do now?"
Yeah.
I mean, and then it was so wild because they had one disappear, and everybody had to go find him, and I was just like, at that time, I didn't know what kind of show that was. So yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, and he's so nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, gullible. But that's
when they filmed in Pikeville, Kentucky, okay, mm-hmm. People don't know, my mom lives in Virgie, which is in Pike County. And they're talking this woman tells them, leaves a note on the door, says, I'm not home, but don't go near the pond. Don't go near the pond. And what do? They go to the pond. Words. And later on, you find the one with the beard. I forgot his name. Well, the long beard and overalls and kind of short. He find him naked in the water. And I was like, what in the hell are you doing? I don't know what are you doing? And then he got pushed in. Yeah. And then later on, you find one of them sitting there going, well, it was talking to me. It was Buck in that little house. It was talking to me. And I'm like, I've been going to Kentucky, to this part of Kentucky for 35 years. How come I never heard of this cryptid in this area? I've been to all of their things looking for ghosts, and I found out about Octavia Hatcher. I found out about the ghost that jumps on people's cars out at Fish Trap Lake that's
Wrong
naked.
kind of paranormal, Denise.
No, I mean, but I'm looking for all this stuff. I mean, I'm looking for anything.
I know. I'm giving you grief, but
and there's nothing other than these stupid stories. You know, some are stupid. Octavia Hatcher was the history about her is true, but you know, I made fun of the naked spirit. I told everybody, I said, that's not true. I said, I only jumped on a car once naked. And I said, I was drinking too much moonshine, you know, and out of a fish trap. But, you know, that kind of stuff. But, you know, you'd figure 35 years, you'd hear something about a cryptid. But nothing. And, you know, and I would ask people about their stories there and going over the mountain towards Holly Mullins, where she's at. Right. There's a mountain there that has a whole bunch of statues of Bigfoots. Of course, they're just store-bought statues that you can get anywhere, but they're there because people see a lot of Bigfoots there.
So they bring back a statue to commemorate their experience?
No, it's just those ones that you have in your yard.
Oh,
but
okay.
they have a bunch of them in this park or on this mountain. But where they were doing their show, no, nobody's ever reported anything but bears. You know, never reported anything else. So, of course, it got me going, okay, now I got to figure out what's going on. And eventually I gave up. But, because it wasn't too far from the hospital. And it's not real far from Dill Cemetery, which is where the Hatfields and McCoys, funny, Hatfields and McCoys are buried in the same cemetery.
That is funny.
Yeah,
it's
not
somehow
even
just. It just seems appropriate.
Yeah, some of them aren't even 5 feet from each other.
That's even better.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that makes you laugh. If you can even get up the hill, I don't even know how they got the bodies up there to bury them, because we had to stop a couple times walking up the damn hill. But you know, that's the thing. You've got all this other stuff, but yet you can't show me anything that says, hey, we've cited this in this area. But for TV, they could.
Well, sure.
But before it was on
the distilleries don't share it unless they're going on TV.
Well, there was only 2 of them. I don't know about the others.
Right.
But you know, like Jim Beam Distillery. They've got a long history of being haunted. They're going to be on Paranormal Lockdown. Finally, this year.
Well,
so when season starts, it's going to be on. So that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
So, been there a couple times.
I have never done that distillery trail, the bourbon trail.
Well, maybe next year we can all go to Scarefest, and then I can take you to Buffalo Trace.
That'd be fun.
They have a ghost tour there on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights, and it's free.
Even better. And
you get to taste some of the spirits after the tour.
Much better.
Yes, everybody wants to taste their spirits.
I'm down with that.
But again, there's our Spirit and Spirit store. Somebody shared a spirit guide picture, you know, and it's like, that's us on every trip. We have to stop at every time we go to liquor stores in Kentucky. We spend about an hour and a half in liquor stores in Kentucky. These people, and they go, what are you doing? Ron's being everybody's spirit guide.
That works too.
Trying to find out about this bourbon or that bourbon, and me, I'm looking around to find, hey, what's the newest moonshine? What's the best rum? He's looking at bourbon. It's
I'm always
fun.
looking for new flavors on moonshine, and I'm pretty good on rum.
I got a new guava berry one that you'll have to try.
I'll try it, but I'm not sure what I think about guava berries.
That's made in St. Martin's, and the distillery almost got destroyed by the hurricane.
Right.
So getting it was not fun, but I got it. But I do have some new moonshines that we got on vacation on this last trip. Butter cake, toasted marshmallow, chocolate moon pie. I've had that one for a couple years. But let's see, what other one? Oh, bananas Foster.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one I saw you mention, and I was like, oh, I must try that. I didn't even know they made that.
Yep, it's a new one as you're going into Gatlinburg. Well, it's in between Sevierville and Pigeon Forge.
Right.
So it's before you get to Pigeon Forge. Tennessee Legend.
Okay. I know where that is.
New distillery, just opened since the last time we were down there. They're putting in a pizza oven and a winery and a brewery, microbrewery next door. It's going to be an entire destination right there. You just stay in the hotel next door and just walk over.
Well, that's much safer. You know, I'm interested because since you moved over to a discussion about that area, that's where I have had my own Spook Lights adventures. So I'm really interested in hearing David speak. And I tried to catch up with him when we were at Asheville for the Ash Bash. And they were on their way to go do something. And so I was like, well, I'll catch up with you when you come back. And then I was on my way doing something and missed them when they came back. And when I came back the next morning, they were already gone. And I was just like, I hate that. Because when I realized what it was about, I was excited to have that conversation. So I will definitely be bringing some questions to you.
Well, I knew before Ash Bash, you and I had talked down in Arkansas in Eureka Springs.
Right.
We had talked about David. We had talked about Josh. And we had talked about the Spook Light movie that they were doing, that they had already done. We'd already talked about that. And I told you that I thought that he would, because you were changing your focus from all ghosty type stuff to more unusual type things. And I said, well, here, I think that this would be a really good interview for you. And of course, you had all kinds of other issues that had nothing at all to do with booking guests.
That was an interesting time in my life, and you know, I'm so pleased to have made it through that because there were times it was a little sketchy.
Yeah, had nothing at all to do with booking guests. You could get all the guests you wanted. It just everything else was just. But you know, and I saw the spark in your eyes when I said it's the spook light phenomenon, and you got all excited. So I did. And when I heard that you hadn't booked David yet, and I was like, okay, well, he's got something coming up. I'm going to try to book him now. And, you know, then you can at least hear him. And then, you know, maybe you can book him a couple months down the road when the movie is ready to actually be released. So regardless, you know.
Well, regardless, I'm going to get to hear him discuss it.
So, and I know David left the chat room, but he'll be in here tomorrow. He had a show. His show was live just before this, so him coming in and listening to this was great.
It was, and it was appreciated too, because you know, I love that topic, and I love the work, and so few people realize that is an international phenomenon. It's not just like in the Smokies or the Appalachians. It's really anywhere that there are divides or valleys of that nature. You know, the Brown Mountain Lights are probably the most famous, but it's just amazing how often that happens.
Right. And I never knew about it until I moved to Missouri. So about 35 years ago. Actually, I may have heard about it about 37 years ago when I was living in Arkansas. So it was one of those things is like, what in the heck is this? And yeah, but you have to realize when I moved to Arkansas, I was only 15 years old. So what would I have heard before I was 15 about spook lights in Maryland and Virginia and West Virginia?
You
know that I would have remembered. Probably not a lot.
We are into our break.
Yeah.
We will be right back, guys. I apologize. Y'all just enjoy this, and we'll be right back with you.
That's good because